Welcome back to TYT Sports. Francis will be joining me momentarily. He's coming back from lunch without me. Everyone knows how seriously I take lunch around here too. So we killed time doing a crossword puzzle from the New York Times. But until then, I wanted to talk about the clip titled, "Here is a Bad Kobe Bryant Take." It comes from Sports Illustrated. And before we actually get into the video itself, which is about 2 minutes, 2 minutes is not a fair amount of time to address any single player as rated, overrated, or underrated. And it also comes from an environment in social media where things get rapidly shared and the hot take is more rewarded than the factually based take. And he does have a couple of arguments, but of course a couple of arguments, as you're gonna see, are not nearly outweighed by the massive amount of arguments that properly rate Kobe Bryant, at least in my opinion. Here is a piece of that video.
But I wouldn't necessarily classify Mamba mentality as a positive. Kobe Bryant's will and toughness cannot be questioned, nor can his penchant for making difficult shots. He is indisputably an all-time great player. However, at the same time, it could be said he is one of the most overrated players of all time. Bryant was a beneficiary of circumstances in many ways. He started his career with a prime Shaq. Of course, that relationship was the first in a series of high-profile clashes due to said Mamba mentality. Where would he be if he was kept by the Hornets? And could, say, Ray Allen or Tracy McGrady have won just as many championships with the Diesel? He was then fortunate to have Pau Gasol land on his squad. Gasol was much more of a 1B to Kobe's 1A than he's given credit for. Before Gasol, Kobe was on bad teams, and Mr. Killer Instinct even quit in a Game 7 against the Suns when he refused to shoot out of spite. Also, his reputation in the clutch is vastly overstated.
He goes on to tell you that he shoots under 30% in shots made pretty much under 5 seconds in overtime or to tie it. Guys, nobody shoots like 60% in the clutch, so it's an unfair metric to necessarily use. Is he a little bit overrated when it comes to how clutch of a shooter he was? Sure. Is Kobe Bryant an overrated player? Is he the most overrated player in the history of the NBA? No.
Hell no!
There you go, Francis. Here's one of the things that annoys me about the video in general. One, you can't be associated with the top 10 greatest players of all time and say in your own video that Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest players of all time and also call him overrated. The two don't go hand in hand. Now, when it comes down to it, Kobe Bryant's resume speaks for itself. I don't need to list off everything on it to make the case for Kobe Bryant being properly rated as the second or at worst third best shooting guard in the history of the NBA, because it does go Michael, Kobe, and there's an argument for 3, 4, and 5, whoever you want to have it. So, people bring up the same points with Kobe Bryant over and over and over again. For one, he played with Shaq for 3 of those championships. Yeah, Shaq was one of the most dominant players in the history of the league too. And sure, without Shaq there, Kobe probably doesn't win 3 of those championships. But why do we play so much what if Shaq wasn't there or what if Kobe was on the Hornets? He was, of course, a major part in the Lakers winning 3 of those years, and it was also a different time for the NBA. Then the team got bad, and of course there's the stories of Kobe Bryant looking over at Steve Ballmer when he was the Clippers owner saying, "I want out of here, I don't want to be here anymore, get me out of here, let me go to the Clippers." This happens with most players who play for the same team for 20 years. And then the Pau Gasol years came, and Pau Gasol bought into the fact that Kobe was the 1A guy, and people who love the Lakers do love Pau Gasol for buying into that immediately.
Yeah.
So the worst take though is the 6 of 22 game, Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant almost shot his team out of winning the NBA Finals, except what happened? They won the NBA Finals. It's not a single player game. There's 5 players on the court, and yes, Michael Jordan needed his teammates to bail him out of playoff games in the past. Michael Jordan couldn't beat the Pistons until Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and Steve Kerr and Tony Kukoc and the rest of those guys came around. It's not a single player's game. Michael Jordan couldn't do it by himself. LeBron James couldn't do it by himself, and no, Kobe couldn't do it by himself. But he's a 15-time All-NBA player. I don't care about the All-Star games, it's a fan vote. 15-time All-NBA player. No, he's not overrated. Yeah, he's a career, his career numbers are all less than LeBron James, or they will be at least by the end of it, and his percentages are pretty much less, except for I believe free throw shooting. But when we go back to that really strong argument people have for Kobe's overrated because of one Game 7 in the 2010 NBA Finals, well, let's see. He knocked down his free throws in the fourth quarter. He didn't miss a free throw in the fourth quarter. And a lot of those came when the game was on the line, tied or only up by a bucket or two. Do we forget that Ray Allen was 3 of 14 for the Celtics in Game 7? That Kevin Garnett was 8 of 13 but had a plus minus in the negative for one of the best plus minus players in the league at the time? And Paul Pierce shot 5 of 15, so why the rap on Kobe so much? It wasn't like his defense had anything to do with those players not playing as well as they were able to. He still averaged 2.1 steals during that finals run and was dropping 30 points in most of those games. Sure, it took 30 shots to do it, but that's how the Lakers, part of how the Lakers were able to win, and Kobe was putting them in the position to win, yes, with difficult shots, taking shots that nobody in their right mind would normally take, but he knocked them down. So don't fall for the easy headline. I mean, look, there's so many others. Like in 2009, there was the article run by Bleachers. Kobe Bryant is still one of the most overrated players in the NBA after he won the championship and before he almost went back to back. And then Twitter user tries to prove Kobe Bryant is overrated. People always go with this. And this is yearly. This is 2016, 2015, 2010. Why Kobe Bryant is the most overrated player in NBA history. I mean, come on. The guy's impact, this whole Mamba mentality thing that people have taken a little bit too literally, you think you have an entire generation of NBA players, to wrap this up, who have looked up to Kobe Bryant as their idol, just like Kobe Bryant looked up to Michael Jordan as their idol. Kyrie Irving, after he hit the game-winning shot in the NBA Finals in 2016, sent the Cavaliers to their first championship, right? He cited Kobe Bryant being the influence and the guy. He was channeling his Mamba mentality. He said he channeled it again and again during every major clutch moment that he had. Isaiah Thomas, after his sister passed away tragically and came out in one of the most emotional NBA games I've seen a player go through, cited Kobe Bryant as a mentor and somebody who reached out to help him. And it was the Mamba mentality that got him through that. Countless amount of players cite Kobe Bryant and the Mamba mentality. It's a legacy thing. So no, Kobe Bryant isn't an overrated player. I think he's properly rated. I don't think he's the greatest Laker of all time. I don't think he's the #1 player of all time. I think there's a list of people, 1 through 7 or 8 or 9, that you can argue is better than Kobe Bryant. But if you're associated with the top 10, you are not overrated. It's just the media loves to fuel these narratives. Easy to be look back in hindsight, did the same thing with Derek Jeter. Comment below. Favorite, subscribe. Francis, are you coming to join me? I am. Bart, can Francis come on the show now?
I guess.
Yeah, you can come back on the show.